All right, welcome back to another episode of the In Between Overs podcast. Where your host for the day's play. I'm Taran.
And I'm Ishan.
I don't even want to do this episode. I'm forcing myself to do it. India get dominated by Australia. If India slapped Australia in the first test, Australia absolutely annihilated them in the second test. Well, the good thing is we have a series, best of three, but that was hard to take.
Oh, so hard to take, especially when you come off the high from the first test match. You think, India's in a great position, and then, you look at some of the changes coming in India's lineup in the second test. You're like, "Oh, India going from strength to strength." But you can never rule out Cummins and co. What a comeback. What batting performances, what bowling performances, and to your point, we definitely got a series down under. A spicy one as well after this test match.
Yeah, a spicy one for sure. You know what's not talked about? The fact that Australia are the defending WTC champions.
Yep.
That
No.
justifies them coming back. Like you can't write this team out. Everyone was writing them off, saying, "Oh, they got to make wholesale changes to the team." The Great Cricketer podcast were talking about the Argus review, whatever that is. But you can't write them off. They came back with a bang, and they absolutely slapped India back on both sides of the face.
Yeah, no, and Cummins has won everything, right? He's done extremely well as a captain, and with such experienced lineup, in terms of batting and bowling, you're
Yeah.
someone's bound to step up. And Australia had a few of those this test match. I think now India, obviously was a little on the high end, perhaps maybe a little complacent, but now hopefully they're woken up to realize that no, they've a test series in Australia, and this is not going to be smooth sailing at all.
Yep. So let's go over the test match. Um, I guess we'll start with India's batting. We talked about the first innings in our previous daily episode. For day one, and then India batted again in the second innings and didn't really put up much of a fight in that innings either.
No, some mediocre scores of some 20s and 30s, but
Yeah.
from India's standard, you can definitely call it a no-show and a collapse. You expect the likes of Kohli or Rohit Sharma or Shubman Gill really stepping up and getting a big knock, especially considering the fact that Australia had a lead and you really needed to put up some big numbers to make it competitive. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and frankly, India's batting has not shown up all series. If you really think about it, India's bowling has really done well. Apart from Jaiswal's first innings and KL Rahul really pulling up his socks, a lot of India's batters made some mediocre runs and haven't really put up a competitive total, especially down under. And you need to put up big numbers to make it a competitive match in Australia, in my eyes.
Yeah, and I think it had a lot to do with Australia's bowling. Australia did really well with the ball. It seemed like they changed some of their tactics. They were bumping India a lot in the second innings. They made them sniff the leather, especially the wickets of I think it was, oh man, I forget the one that was unplayable. I just can't remember which one that was. But
Uh,
most of the batters got bumped a lot, especially the lower order. It was Rana. It was Harshit Rana. That was an unplayable ball from around the wicket, right hand around the wicket. That angle coming into your face. Oh man, I can't imagine being Rana in that position at 140 clicks plus.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you saw them try it out a few times. Rana kept swinging at it, and it was just uncomfortable. And
Hmm.
the targeting was for sure due to the fact that I think Rana may have done the same to Australia in the first test, so they really wanted to
Hmm.
get at him. And unfortunately, down under, that's what happens. You get those bouncy decks, and if you can't play those bouncers or that chin music, it gets really tough down under. And to your point, Rana with 2 zeros, quite disappointing.
Yeah. Two ducks. The lower orders didn't do much, but you can't bank on them. It's the top orders that's got to
It
put up a
is.
score. You had, like you said, starts from everyone, but no one really kicked on. I think it's also Australia just were able to do enough with the ball to always have a chance of getting someone out. One of those balls had someone's name on it, and a lot of the deliveries were absolutely amazing deliveries. The ball from Stark to Shubman Gill. Oh my goodness, what a ball that was. Then you had Scotty Boland again, first ball of his bowling innings, and he gets Yashasvi Jaiswal out. Then he gets Virat Kohli out with an absolute peach. Like, you can't do anything about those deliveries.
No, he's as accurate as you get, and thinking he's a sub, that really puts things into context of Australia's bowling. He coming
Yep.
in and he's acting like he's never missed a test match for Australia in a while.
Yeah, and shout out to Pat Cummins. Everyone thought he was out of form, comes back, takes a 5 for, almost had a 6 for, but for the ball hitting Bumrah's helmet instead of when it got reviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, amazing bowling led from the front, and overall, Australia's attack was just too hot to handle.
Yeah, and then after that, I guess Australia pretty much had a smooth sailing. No.
Oh yeah, you're talking about 19 runs. Bumrah's coming on bowling dibbly dobblers for 1 over, gets replaced by Reddy, gets smacked by Sydney McSweeney. I mean Nathan McSweeney. Shout out to TGC for introducing that nickname.
Hilarious. Some great nicknames from that show, eh?
Yeah, really good nicknames. But what I want to talk about, so obviously the chase was nothing to speak of, but the whole reason why Australia won this test match is obviously the batting of Travis Head, because there was enough in the wicket for all the bowlers, and you saw that in all the innings. And the difference maker, the lead that Australia got was literally Head's score of 140. It was about 10 runs more, give or take. But he was the difference maker. How did you think? What did you think of his innings?
Taran, how many times has Head been India's
Oh my god, I'm
kryptonite?
tired of it.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. He's when he's dug in, when he's settled in, it's very tough to get him out. But I saw this stat both on Fox Cricket and on Twitter. There's a material difference in Travis Head's batting when Rohit Sharma's captaining versus when there's another captain for Team India. And I know there was a lot of
Really?
comms. There's a
That's
material
awesome.
difference.
I never saw that.
Yep, and I you hear some of the comms, especially even from Ravi Shastri, who's
Yeah.
also who's also affiliated with Team India. He was very critical of Rohit Sharma's captaincy. I think he wasn't as aggressive as he could have been, and he didn't take as many risks as he could have. I think there was opportunities there where you really had to throw the kitchen sink to get Travis Head out, because you know what he could do. And he did exactly what we thought. He did exactly what we wish he didn't do. So that was it. And to your point, that was the difference. So in my eyes, Travis said, you got to give the flowers to him. Home ground in front of his family, played extremely well, and he really showed India that no, he can be a difference maker for sure.
But he's also an absolute gun at Adelaide. It's his home ground. He just knows the ground inside out. He knows how the ball or the pitch is going to play, the outfield, how to play the outfield, the ground. He just knows that ground inside out, right? He grew up on it. So I feel like that has to do with it too. Obviously the theories are always going to come out, right? Conspiracies every test match. When India wins, everyone's singing praises. Nothing's wrong with the team. Don't change the batting order. Keep it the same. And now India lose, and like, oh, let's critique his captaincy. The same captain that has led India to the WTC final. I think he's done it twice.
That's true.
He's done it twice.
Yeah,
right.
That's
true.
Yeah,
you can't.
And he's lost it twice.
Sure, but that's
sorry, I tried to say that.
That's another conversation.
I'm salty.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it, and Travis Head, the way he plays reminds me of Adam Gilchrist back in the day. And I know he's not a keeper, but he's that kind of batsman. Like, he can take the game away from you. He's done it multiple times to India. He's clearly a thorn in India's side. That's the phrase. Thorn in your side, right?
Yeah.
and he just knows how to make runs against India. Any bowling attack that they put up against him, he just knows how to make runs. Even in the first test match, he almost scored a century there too.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point as well. And I think he made 140 odd, so great knock from him. And to your point, that was a real difference maker in this entire test match.
So there was that one incident that everyone's talking about that went viral on the internet. It's probably what we should have opened up with, but that's fine. We'll talk about it now. Travis Head versus Mohammed Siraj.
I love it. please add more spice to this. And hey,
Yes, need
and,
need
and
that
I
masala. We need that
you need
masala.
that masala exactly. And look, from my eyes, obviously you've seen so many angles. It looked like Siraj got him out, and him sending Travis Head off was a form of
Yeah,
relief and aggression. Finally, right? And then obviously Travis Head says something, and then Siraj says something back. And in my eyes, I think that should have been it. It was on the field, and
yeah.
it wasn't too much.
What
And
happens on the
it's
field stays on the field.
exactly. But then Travis Head coming out with his own story, and then Siraj
Yeah,
coming out literally saying
he's
that no,
lying.
he's
He's
lying.
lying.
He's a liar. And then that's funny in itself, right? And
Yeah,
you did see also, I'm not sure if you caught this, but when Siraj was batting, you saw Travis had a back pad
yeah,
talking to him a little
yeah,
bit. Yeah,
yeah. They
a
had a
little bit of
little
talk.
mini conversation, and then I think it was David Warner on comm saying, "This is what I said." Oh no, this is what I said. No, you didn't say that.
Exactly. It added a bit to the banter. It added a
Yeah,
bit of masala to the test match, right? And hey,
yeah,
poetic enough, I think Head took the catch for Siraj as well, right, to end the game.
yeah, yeah,
Eh,
yeah, yeah. It's funny how it happens, right? But that's cricket for you. That's cricket for you.
but no, what are your thoughts though? Did you think the game went over the top?
Um, the team went over the top.
No. The little whatever you want to call it between
The
Travis Head
scuffle,
and
or
Siraj. Yeah.
no, I don't think it was over the top. Who knows what they said, right? It's a bit of he said, she said kind of situation, and that adds to the drama. That adds to the spice. It adds to the masala. You need that in a series, right? And right away, who woke up? The Australian crowd. The Australian
Yes.
crowd backed Travis Head for the rest, or not only Travis Head, the entire Australian team for the rest of the test match. You could see there was a shift in energy. There's a shift in energy with the crowd. Every time Siraj got near the ball, had the bat on his hand, this guy was booed. He was booed to the point where India had to move him because he was fielding on the boundary line and they were booing him. So they moved him so that he fielded closer away from the crowd. And I don't think it's gonna stop there. It's gonna be every test match going forward. Siraj has to find a way to deal with this because it can get to your head. And Australian sledging, we've all seen it in the past. The Monkey Gate incident, Harbhajan Singh and Andrew Simons. You remember
Oh,
that?
oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Aussie,
The
we talked about
Maki
this
incident.
offline. Aussie humor is different. And if you're not used to it, it can get to your mind. And
That's a
that's
good
what it
point.
does. That's what it does, right? And so Siraj has got to find a way to shut the noise out and still perform.
But here's one thing though. I definitely
Yeah.
think this can act as a catalyst for Siraj because if you remember last time Siraj was down under, there was that racist incident, and I think after that incident, he got a fifer. And he sometimes needs that
Oh
sort of
yeah,
extra
yeah.
energy, right?
Yeah.
So to your point, it really depends on how he channels that sort of negative energy from the crowd and the
Yes.
Australian team. And I
100%.
think a key player in this has to be Virat Kohli. I think Virat
Yes.
Kohli knows how to
Yeah.
get the best out of Mohammed Siraj,
Absolutely.
and so he definitely needs to allow him to figure out how to channel his energy
Yeah.
into really showing up with the ball. Because if he's
Yeah.
able to show up with the ball, in my opinion, I think the Australian crowd is fair enough to give him respect if he for example gets a fifer at the Gabba.
100%. 100%. And to your point, he did take 3 wickets after that incident. He
Yep,
got a four. Like he did pretty well, right? And he seems like the type of character, like you said, that gets charged up from these situations. Right? He's like, bring it on. It's like a Virat Kohli aggression, right? And
literally.
Virat Kohli would be the perfect person to put an arm around his shoulders. Talk to him about how to deal with it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does in the next Test match.
But hey, yeah, to your point though, this definitely adds another layer to the interesting series going on.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So speaking of next Test match, we got the Gabba Test match coming up. Last time India played there, India won that Test match in dramatic fashion. That's what helped them win the series for the second time. And now they're going back there. It's the third Test of the series, so they shuffled the venue for the it being the middle of the series rather than at the end. And you can say that's mind games again or chess match, but um, that's how it's playing out. And so, Gabba, what do you expect? What are your first thoughts in terms of what do you expect for the Test match?
Dude, 1-1 right now. I'm expecting
Hmm.
fireworks. I think both teams, I think Australia obviously has a momentum. They want to carry it forward. But I think India, especially with the experienced players that they have, and potentially being a last series down under for some players, I think they need to really pull up their socks and really, play as they played in the first innings. Burma
Yeah,
leading with the ball, and you need a 2 or 3 innings from India's 6 top orders, right? They're great batters. Anyone can have a day from KL Rahul to Rohit Sharma. I think at
yeah,
least 2 players within India's team have to really step up. And there's been positive memories from the Gabba Test match, right?
yep.
You had those guys. I think it was a 91 from Shuman Gill, and you had that unreal knock from Rishabh Pant at the end there. So there are positive memories, and I really hope those players really channel
Invoke.
those, invoke those
Yes.
exactly into this match. But no, to your point, well, and I don't expect Australia to even taper it.
Hmm.
I believe McSweeney was born near the Gabba as well, so it's a homecoming for him. So I think it's going to be a great third game for the series. What about your thoughts?
It's going to be exciting. I think India has to pull their socks up, and I think there's extreme pressure on Rohit Sharma.
Yep,
Extreme pressure.
you see it
He
on his
came.
face.
Yeah, you see it on his face. You saw it in his body language when he came out to bat. He doesn't look like he's in the same confidence that he's had in the past. And add to that, India won the first Test match without him, and he's
Mm-hmm.
coming in. He's batting. He has to bat at a position that he hasn't batted in a long time, and he has to lead from the front in a situation where India just got hammered in the previous Test match. So there's a lot of pressure on him in terms of the decisions that he makes and how he bats. And I think he's a player to watch out for sure throughout this Test match.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. What are your thoughts on sort of any potential changes to the lineup? Obviously, it's not going to be a day and night test match anymore. No more pink ball.
Hmm.
But the GABA offers its own challenges, right? So what are your thoughts?
I think there might be a change. I don't want to say will, but there might be a change with India's bowling. I think Harshit Rana, and I think you agree as well, was
I agree.
very off during this last Test match. It seemed like I think I shared with you on WhatsApp. He was releasing pressure like a kettle, right?
Yeah,
It was just
literally.
like all the pressure was built up, and this guy comes on and he gives away like three fours in an over, right? So a little disappointing performance. I don't know how much the team is going to back him in the third Test match, or whether they make a decision and bring in Akash Deep, right? Because again, he's starting his career. This is a big series. Do you want to risk giving him another shot in what potentially could be the deciding Test match for the series? Because the team that goes 2-1 up has a significant advantage for Test 4 and 5. So I feel like they may bring in fresh legs, especially because it's such a quick turnaround. This Test match is starting today. Is Monday that we're recording. The Test match is starting Friday for us, or actually Thursday for us, Friday for Australia time. So you might see a change there. I don't think they're gonna swap out Bumrah or Siraj. They have to play them again. Such an important, pivotal Test match in the series, in the context of the series. So I think they may want to get a fresh leg in for Harshad Rana.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. I think Akash Deep should definitely be playing. I think Harsh Rana played a great first test match, but the second test match, it seemed like Australia really figured him out. And I think they were
Hmm.
really targeting him as well. So no, I think Akash Deep would be a great addition to India's team. Sorry, you had a point to make?
Yeah, yeah. Here's a random thought. We both said Akash Deep. Is there a case for someone else? Is there a case for a Prasid Krishna or a Mukesh Kumar?
I've never been the biggest fan of Prasid Krishna. I think,
Really?
yeah, I don't think he's been perform. I don't think he's performed as well as he could have in the international
Okay.
setting compared to the IPL or whatnot. And I think
Okay.
Mukesh Kumar is probably better suited for Indian conditions. I think
Yeah.
he's really good at home.
Hmm.
And I think Akashdeep can really, bounce the ball and really hit the wicket, and he offers that aggression as well. I think in comparison to Prasid Krishna and Mukesh Kumar, I think
Yeah.
Akashdeep offers that raw aggression, similar to Rana. Rana is aggressive. Don't get me wrong, but I think you need to
Yeah.
continue that aggressiveness
You
bowling
also
to
need
Australia.
consistency. You also need
Yes.
consistency with that aggression, right? And Harshit had that in the first test, and then he seemed to have lost it in the second. I don't know if the pink ball had anything to do with it, right? Because they did say like the pink ball is different to handle. The seam is more prominent, and there's I think double lacquer on the ball. right?
Mm-hmm.
That can have an impact on it. But yeah, I get your point. I think Prashid Krishna may be considered just because it's the Gabba. He's tall. He hits the deck hard. He did do well in the warm up games. He did take some really good wickets, and he was aggressive in his line and length, and he's got pace too, right?
That's
So I
true.
think there may be a case for him. I don't think there's a case for Mukesh Kumar, just because he's like a Bhuvaneshwar Kumar type bowler,
Yes, very much.
right? So yeah, I don't think there's a case for him. Here's a here's a name I'm going to throw in the
All
hat.
right, let's hear this.
Mohammed Siraj. Sorry, Mohammed Shami. My bad.
No, 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 no. I
Mohammed
knew where you're
Shami.
going.
Wrong Mohammed. Wrong Mohammed.
No, no. I
Mohammed
knew where
Shami.
you're going with that. No, I think India needs a third seamer like Mohammed Shami. They missed him the first two test
Yeah.
matches, especially the second test match. I think Rohit Sharma in the press conference said that they're looking at him for the third test. Sorry, was it the third test or the fourth test? Um,
I think they said they may look at him for the fourth or fifth. I think it's too soon to rush him back just
yeah.
because of the turnaround times. Because from test 3 to test 4, you have a big gap because that's the fourth test is going to be the Boxing Day test match at Melbourne.
Yes, yes.
So they have what I think it's like at least a week gap, at
Mm-hmm.
least a week break, right? So that should give him time to come down, acclimatize the conditions. Jet lag is a thing when you get, especially when you go to
is.
Australia. So get acclimatized to that, and then maybe you could see him playing for the fourth test match. But I agree. I don't think he's going to play for the third.
No, I would love to see him come into India's lineup for sure. I think he
Yeah.
offers that smart bowling and that consistency that India lacks. And Australia, respect it. You've heard some of the commentators mention early on is before the test series that Mohammed Shami's missing would be a huge loss for India, and I agree with that as well. So I think he definitely keeps some mental real estate within the Australian batters' minds, and he's a class bowler. So definitely, I think if he's fit, he should definitely play as soon as he can.
Yeah. Do you see any changes to any other slot in the lineup?
See, let's just talk about the batting, right? So India's
Mm.
batting. I think India will keep the batsmen as it is, but I think what is on top of everyone's mind is does Rohit Sharma go back up top? I think
Mm.
not. I think keep it as it is. Keep KL Rahul opening. He still looks
You
nice.
can't just keep changing things just based on results, right? You got to have a process in place. So if you've decided after the first test match is not going to be, then I think you stick to that.
Yeah, and I think you would hope that with no pink ball, no day night test match, um, Rohit Sharma coming in at 6, it should be easier for him, especially the way he plays his shots. But we know I think the Gab has a lot of variable bounce,
Mm-hmm.
and that could be an issue. But hopefully, if India is able to see the new ball and see a few overs, I think Rohit Sharma at 6 could be destructive for Team India.
I agree with that. I agree with that take. I think Rohit Sharma is past his prime as an opener.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and especially with India looking to the future, I've said this before. This could be Rohit Sharma's last or second last series. I don't see him playing for India for more than a year. Um, and him at 5 or 6 is more beneficial to India, in my opinion, than him opening the batting.
Yes, yes, no, I completely agree. So I guess similar to you, no real changes to India's lineup, from a
Nah,
batting
I wouldn't
perspective.
look. Yeah, from the batting perspective, you just got to back these guys. I think this is your best top six that you have, right? And you just got to back these guys to come clutch. Everyone's in runs. Everyone's in runs. Everyone got
Yeah,
starts as we talked about in the pink ball test match. Rishabh Pant looked promising in both innings. Shubman Gill looked classy as hell in both innings. We talked about that before. And then Nitish Kumar Reddy. I mean, he's not in the top 6, but he's like a bonus at 7 or 8. No
100%.
matter
Oh
where he comes, he's been putting up runs.
no, I don't think he's really cemented his spot for Team India. I guess a question that we didn't really talk about. It's at the
Yeah.
Gabba. Do you see Ashwin still playing?
Ooh. You thinking four fast bowlers?
I'm saying let's bring on Jaddu, baby, number one all rounder.
Yeah, I think I could see a case for Jaddu at Gabba. And I feel if they want to strengthen the batting and the Gabba again, it's a tough wicket to bat on. from history, right? History
Yes.
suggests that with the bounce and whatnot. Um, so yeah, you could see a case for Jaddu. I think he would lengthen the lineup some more. Ashwin looked a bit off with his batting. He did give us a good 22 in the first innings, but it was a scratchy 22. It wasn't
Yeah.
the compact Ashwin 22. You know what I mean?
I know. I know. But so yeah, so I think India has those options for a spinner, and obviously we can't forget Washington Sundar. He played a great knock here last time they came around.
Mm,
You know, so good headaches for India. I think from a
yeah.
spinning perspective, but definitely I think there'll be some changes as you agreed to the bowling lineup. So we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
I don't think India's going to go with four pacers. They may surprise us, but I think with the spinners, it's just a matter of matchups. Really, I feel it looks like they're willing to swap the spinner depending on the pitch and matchups, conditions, things of that nature. So yeah, we may see even Sundar come back in. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think it matters who they play from a spinning perspective. I think they'll all do well.
And I guess very quickly, do we see any potential changes from the Australian side?
Scotty Boland. Is he going to be left out again? He
I
did
think
amazing.
I think so. Leave him out. Hazel comes back, and then you get Scotty back at the G
That's
for
so
Boxing
that's
Day.
so harsh on
I
On
know.
Scotty. Bro. That's so harsh on him. They're nicknaming him the super sub. Man
it's
literally didn't play any red ball test match apparently, or red ball cricket this year because he's been warming the bench with the Australian team, right, as the backup as well. Gets a match, does really well, and now we're talking about leaving him out again.
but hey, that just goes to show you how great
Yeah.
Australians bowling is, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't leave out goats, right? They have four goats. That's crazy to think about at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time.
No, unreal, unreal.
How about from the batting side with Australia? Do you see them making any changes there?
No, no, I don't see any changes there, but I still feel that there are some questions on, Usman Khawaja. McSweeney's yet to prove himself really.
He
And I
did
know
pretty good
Labuschagne,
though.
he did pretty good, but I
Yeah.
think even Steve Smith, I think they all are looking for big runs. They just haven't gotten it yet. So I think it'll be an interesting battle for India's bowlers because I think some of Australia's batters still have to prove themselves.
Yeah, I think there's a little less pressure on Marnus. I think there's a lot of pressure on Usman and Steve Smith.
Yes.
Both of them have been unders throughout the series, 4 innings now, and I could see one of them putting up a score. So I guess that's a great segue. Slog sweep for the third test match. Do you got one?
I got one. In India's first bowling innings, Siraj is getting a
Yeah.
fifer. I think Siraj's coming back with a fifer, and
Woo!
he's really going to show him what's up. So that's my slog sweep. Siraj with a fifer for India's. And I'm being very specific on this. India's first bowling chance. Siraj will get a fifer.
Okay. Nice. I like it. I like it. So I'm gonna go with a Steve Smith 100.
Wow,
I
at the
think it's about
Gabba.
time at the Gabba. I think it's about time. It's the pivotal test match. He's under pressure. He's one of Australia's goats when it comes to batting. They say after Bradman and Ponting. So I can see him making 100.
That's a big one, and if he gets 100, that's going to be really hard for India for sure.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting regardless. It's going to be an amazing test match. We are going to bring it to you on the dailies. We're going to talk about each day as it goes by. Hopefully, we have a great test match, a great battle between bat and ball. And as always, we hope India comes up top. But that's it for the day's play today. Until the next test match, that's stumps. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.